So it's not that our history either is so bad, or even if it is and we're past it, it still is something that we have the power to decide if we really want to allow that to go on unaddressed and unchecked. Now, the problem is that when it comes to the kind of work that we've been taught to do, we've been taught to go look for why it happened, to sort of argue with it, you know, oh no, I'm not ugly, I'm not awful, I'm not whatever. No, I'm actually fantastic. And that's just two sides of the same coin fighting. So in order to be authentic, in order to find our way out of that trap, we have to find our own authentic ways of feeling good about ourselves. We have to do something that's not just the opposite, but something that is qualitatively completely different. So when it comes to authenticity, we're looking for something, we're looking for things that allow us to be our own person. And what I wanted to start with today is, oops, wrong place. Do you all have your worksheets open? Okay, here we go. Oops. All right, so can you see the part there that says I have bad news? You cannot change and stay the way you were. You know, we really, I mean, that sounds very obvious, I know, but it's really not. We really, really would like to be able to make changes, but not have to really be different ourselves. And that is a real sticking place, which is why we need to start very, very small with tiny, tiny steps, because there is no way we are going to allow ourselves, and this is a good thing, there's no way we're going to allow ourselves to jump so far all in one fell swoop that that we're going to freak out, lose it, and have a nervous breakdown. That is not the that's not the thing we're going for here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a couple of things, and one of them is we're going to vision. This is not the same as visualization. Does anybody know what visioning is and what visualization is? Can you put it into the chat, please? What is visioning? If you don't know, that's fine. Just put, I don't know, I don't have a clue. Never heard of it, don't know what you're talking about. Because visualization, as you probably do know, is where you see a particular goal and you say, I'm gonna visualize it, and I'm going to feel it, I'm going to embody it, and then it's going to manifest once I'm in alignment with it. That is the general idea of that. Right, seeing and believing it before it happens. So has anybody ever tried to do visualization? You know, like, I have the house on the water and I have $1 million and I have whatever, yeah, the love of my life. Has anybody ever done the visualization and really tried and really not realized it? Would you put a 1 in the chat if that's you? I'm going to put a 1 in the chat because that's me. I suck at it too. I absolutely suck at visualizing. Some people are fantastic at it. They just are, but I just am not. And the thing I learned is that it's because there's a huge part of me going, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not. There's just, that's not going to work for some, because that no, you're not voice is just too loud, and it makes it so you can't vibrationally align. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm concerned, it just is, it's too hard. So visioning is a whole different thing. And we're going to do this in 2 different ways. We're going to do one as a kind of a meditative thing, and we're going to do a writing exercise. So I hope that covers sort of both sides of the brain, I hope. Maybe that's both right brain, I'm not sure. But here, let me go back to my notes real quickly so I don't get off target here for you. Day 2. Okay. So would you please put into the chat, what do you want to be? Now this can be, it doesn't have to be a big honkin', like I want to be, you know, like mine, I want to star in a movie with George Clooney. It doesn't have to be that. It can be, I want to be braver about when misfortune falls on me. I want to be the kind of person who really does believe in myself, who really does like myself, you know, things like that. So please put into the chat who you want to be. If you don't feel comfortable putting it in the chat, don't put it in the chat, but do your homework. Write it down, put it somewhere. What is the vision? And then I want to ask you, what do you have to do, or what do you, or who do you have feel like you have to be to do that? I'm doing this a little backwards from the homework, I'm sorry. But who do you feel you have to be or have to do in order to be that person or do that thing? These are great. These are great. These are, I want you guys to know you are so not alone. So not alone. I had a friend back in my earlier years, in my 30s, who one of the smartest, really just like street smart, brilliant, just amazing woman. And she felt so bad about herself because she hadn't gone to college. And she measured herself against college people and decided that she was worthless. I knew plenty of college people who were dumb as a box of rocks, but they knew how to pass a test, you know? Right. Okay. Fantastic. Yes, we're all afraid of rejection. We all worry about things we can't control, and we can change that. It takes some practice. It takes finding the right way of doing it for you. It's just like the visioning thing or visualizing thing. You know, it works for some, it doesn't work for others. You know, if it worked for you, you'd keep doing it. But if it doesn't, why keep doing it? To be at peace with oneself. Oh, that's so beautiful. When we are at peace with ourselves, what can't we do? Amazing. Okay, so what do you think? What are you thinking? This is not a right or wrong kind of questioning. This is investigative. You are now Sherlock Holmes. If I had deer can't even talk, deer stalker hats, I'd give them to you, right? So put on your Sherlock Holmes hat, and what do you have to give up to do that? Or what do you think you have to give up to do or be that person or that thing? What is that thing you think you have to give up? And I'll share mine. So in stepping into this, into doing this, I know that I'm stepping into what I'm supposed to be doing. And frankly, it's terrifying. You know, every once in a while, I just completely freak out. Jules will tell you, yesterday I'm like, you know, before I got on the phone, before I got on the live. And I'm afraid, I've been afraid, and I now know because I've been talking to my business coach, I've been switching my mindset and to understanding what's real rather than what I'm fearing. Is that my fear was like, I won't be able to have any time for myself ever again. I'll be in service 24/7 and I won't have any balance in my life and I'll have to give myself up. And it's like, oh my God. That's what I thought I had to give up. And it turns out it's not true, but I had to do some investigation so that I could continue to show up in this authentic way of me. I love sharing. I love connecting with people. I am absolutely in love with people, especially people like you guys who are exploring, who are growing and heartful and all of this sort of thing. So, all right. If you are willing to investigate with me, please put a 1 in the chat. Awesome. Awesome. So, and also put in the chat a two, if you really are sick to death of doing your life like it's a tea party that you're attending and you're just hoping to say the right thing and you hope you wore the right thing and you hope that you'll be invited back to the party, put a two in there if you are like, I am so freaking done with this. This is insane. I'm sick of it. I hate it. I don't know how to do it, because, I'm putting my two in there. That's for sure. Heck yeah. No more of that. All right. So I want you to understand one thing as we move forward. And one thing I want you to understand is that, and I know that we think we understand it, but I'm going to repeat it because we kind of don't get anything without massive repetition. This is a journey of the rest of your life. If you really want to be your true self, you don't have to be a complete nutter about it like I am. You really don't. You don't have to like commit to it every single freaking minute of your life, but you do. If you want to be you, if you want to feel fulfilled and freed to be who you are and find your ways, take the information that other people give you, make it your own. Like, then you really want to understand that this is a journey. This is a journey of unfolding. And it is like any birth, in that first you're going to feel discomfort. Every time I come up against another move into a greater part of my authenticity, I feel uncomfortable. Yesterday, I was a mess. I was a mess. And it wasn't until like midnight, I was talking with private messaging with my coach, that she helped me get through a huge mental block that I had, that I didn't even know was there, about how to put together my year-long program, because I felt like there were certain things I had to do this way or this way or this way. And she said something and I was like, oh my God, I can do it like I would do it. That phrase, it never really fails. It really never does. What did V say? You are the Mad Hatter. If you should use that as like your branding. That's pretty awesome. Seriously, that would be great. Think about the people that have made a big splash that you know about. I mean, there's Prince EA, there's Lady Gaga, back in the day, Madonna. These are people who emphatically do not follow the rules, right? And so, and they don't follow them in a huge way, huge. And then we're like afraid to maybe like, let me wear a little flamboyant scarf that my mother may say looks ridiculous. And I think it looks fabulous. You need to start with these little things that it really is. We're sort of breaking out of that internal prison that's been built. So even little things like that, hear that voice inside of you, that rebellious teenager voice inside of you that goes, well, I think it looks fabulous. Well, so it is. It does. It's wonderful. You've got to rebel. This is not about, if I just behave nicely enough, I'll break out. No, no, no. We are here to rebel, and we're here to rebel together. Because I'll tell you, if anybody else besides me, amen, Audrey, right, if anybody else is here to help each other rebel, put something in that chat, put a 1 in that chat, hell yeah, I'm here to help y'all rebel, because enough with this nice behavior. This is ridiculous. It's not getting us anywhere. Rebel with a yell. Woohoo! I'm telling you, especially for women and for men of heart, being angry is seen as being a bad thing, when in fact it is your jet fuel. Because being angry does not mean that you think you get to go out and scream at people. That's not what it means. It means you're allowing that energy to move you forward. Have you ever been so freaking mad that you went and cleaned the kitchen and like you hate to clean the kitchen? You know what I mean? It's like that. It's incredible jet fuel. It's amazing. So what is authenticity? It's being human. You'd think that would be easy, but no. And it's not our fault that it's not easy. It's really not. We have been socialized to death And I actually wrote a book last year about the fact that in corporations, people, all people, every last one of them is treated like a machine. Here's your little place that you plug in, and I need to get this out of you. And the rest of you just doesn't seem to matter. You know, it's so disconnected. It's so top down, parental, punishing, shame enforcing, because the idea is if you are not meeting this one need of mine, you are a failure. No, you're not. No, you're not. I've got, you know, talk about being the Mad Hatter. Every single corporate job that I've ever walked into, I have caused trouble, and I never went in there trying to cause trouble. And it's because of who I am. I have an opinion. I see things in 360 degrees. I always have suggestions. I'm a really good leader type person. I'm very creative, but they wanted me to be the secretary or the administrator or the word processor, whatever it was. They wanted me to be that. And they were so busy fulfilling their sort of mission for the person above them that me down here going, I was like upsetting the apple cart. And they were freaking out. They're going, why aren't you staying in your lane? I'm like, because my lane impacts that lane and that lane and that lane and that lane. That's why. And they're like, no, it's not how we do it. Okay. So we have got to rebel. We've got to be human. We've got to actually let ourselves be human. We've got to let ourselves make mistakes. We've got to let ourselves cry. We've got to let ourselves reach out for community, because being human is none of this bullshit about you're all alone, you do it all by yourself. That is ridiculous. Read the book, The Little Prince, if you doubt me. I think it's all about that concept, right? Anthony's smiling, so I'm thinking he's backing me up on this. We're not here to be on little tiny planets together. We're here on one big planet together. And we've been socialized out of feeling comfortable with connecting with people that we don't know yet. And so we literally need that training. You know, we need that training and that experience of reaching out and asking for help and receiving help and giving help and taking a criticism and not, you know, maybe feeling awful about it, but not exploding, instead having ways, really, really good ways to respond that are still in alignment with who we are, so that we have that opportunity to say, I don't agree with you. I will never agree with you, without going, you don't understand, you know, without like freaking out, which I've been there and I've done that so often, you know. But as we practice these other ways, then we suddenly have so much power to be ourselves in conversation, in social situations. It's a really remarkable and freeing thing. So here's your trick question from the worksheet. Why can you not imitate Lady Gaga, Prince EA, any of the amazing people who are out there going, I am who I am? Why can't you imitate them? Can you imitate them? They're taken. That's true too. What is that, Oscar Wilde, I think? Be who you are, everybody else is already taken. That's very true. Yes, you are you. Now here's where the problem comes in. What if you don't know who you are? Like, has anybody sat you down and they can't do you? That's right, Audrey. But has anybody ever sat you down and said, okay, let's talk about what you like, what you don't like, how you respond to things, what you wish you could create, what your sort of, what draws you, what repels you? Has anybody ever sat you down and spent like time doing that? No. If they have, you're a very fortunate person. Okay. So I have the wrong document up here and I'm still talking okay. Not bad. See, you can make mistakes and keep going. And that's something that I use my acting to teach people, because it's so important that you don't go, oh my God, I freaked out. Because that just makes other people uncomfortable as well as you. So Let me go get the correct document. Day 2. There we go. All righty. What is your biggest fear of being authentic? What will happen if you really are who you are? One thing. I mean, I know there's probably a million things we could name, but what are you afraid of? Yeah, people won't like me. That's a constant socialization fear for all of us, you know, because if I don't behave like they want me to, they won't like me. Oh, are you in the course with Colin Egglesfield? Oh man, I love Colin. He's fantastic. He's also not painful to look at. In fact, actually, he is painful to look at. He's painfully good looking. Wow, that's cool, Iris. I'll have to talk to you about that sometime. The feeling that you'll be alone. I think that goes with Cheryl's comment about fear of not being liked, because, and I forget who said it to me, but it's this fear that you'll be thrown off the island. You know, like nobody will ever talk to you again, and nobody will ever understand you, and nobody will ever love you, and nobody will ever support you. Yeah, Ruth says I could have another breakdown. I've had 2 nervous breakdowns in my life. One was in my 30s and one was in my early 50s. And I'm not going to have another one. And I know that, but I didn't know that after the one in my 30s. I did not know that. And it was true. I was not yet set enough in myself, but we can get set in ourselves. Yeah, there's a total fear of abandonment. And so it really behooves us to support ourselves very deliberately, more and more on the internal, to really support ourselves. And I have a great game I can share with you. This is actually very funny. I didn't know I was going to do this today. And externally, to be able to find those people, if you don't already know who they are, who you can reach out to and you can say, I really have this feeling, or I really have this thing I'm trying to do, or there's this part of me I'm trying to bring out. And I'm really scared to share this with you, but I need to share this to let it have some oxygen, to see if I'm nuts, to see if you know, if there's something about this that I'm not seeing. More often than not, what you're going to find is that people are so impressed and wanting to help you come out. That's what I have found. If you do find that there's somebody you approach who says, oh man, you're nuts, you know, then you just want to go, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to get a second opinion. That's just one person. Don't take one person's negative opinion as like the whole deal. It's not. Okay, now this is the hilarious game that I play, especially when I'm feeling like I really need a boost. Does anybody here play games on their phone? Am I the only one who plays games on your phone? I'm the only one? Damn it. Really? That sucks. Okay, well, I'll tell you about it anyway, because maybe you can use this in a different way than I do. So what I do is I'll go and I'll be playing a game on my phone, and I screw something up, and I have the two, for me it's British guys, I don't know why, but I have 2 British guys in my head. They're the commentators at my sports show. And they go, oh my God, she's wonderful. She deliberately tanked that one because she knows she's going to get extra points. You know, it's always in my favor. Like I screwed up because that lets me get extra points, because that makes me win, you know, or else I will keep going, and I'll be spending extra lives or whatever you know, it's like, it's absurd what I'm doing. Well, yes, you know, everybody else has quit, but she never quits. Yes, that's why she's been great for so many years. It's why we appreciate her so much. You know, it's always positive. So if you're walking down the street and you've got something going on in your head, that says, well, you really screwed that up, get yourself some commentators. They don't have to be British, right? But get yourself some commentators. Go, well, you know, she actually did that, didn't she? Didn't she, Gary? Because she knew that that was the best way that she could do it at that time. And that was exactly what was needed, actually. Pull on your spiritual ideas, your spiritual beliefs, because everything happens for a reason. Oh, that's so true, John. That is, she's always fantastic about that. Well, so why do you suppose that she got upset about that? Well, I think that she just had a moment with her competitor, Mom. And but now that Mom's been banished from the court, I think she's going to come back good and strong. It's a crazy, silly game. If it works for you, great. If you're looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't use it. It's okay. Alrighty, here we go. We're going to do some visioning. Let me tell you about visioning. Where visualizing is you have a goal and you say, I'm going to get that thing. Visioning is, oh, somebody does play games besides me. Okay, then. Thank you. Visioning is you're inviting in something that you don't already know, maybe. We are going to put ourselves into a very calm, very meditative space. And then I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to ask you, what is the vision of the bigger you? What is your vision of your bigger you? And you to the degree that you are able, you will either what's called catch a vision. You'll get like an image that comes to you, or you'll get a word or a color, or you'll get nothing. I get a lot of nothing sometimes. But you will get most often a sense of there's something else. And the hardest part of this is that you try not to create it yourself. But if you do find that that thing comes up that you already know you want, that's okay. That is the thing you need to be focusing on then. That is the next bigger part of yourself. Don't question it. Let yourself be. Once I tell you, we'll open our eyes and you'll write down that part about, this is what I see. This is who I see the next bigger vision, the next bigger version of myself is. You don't have to wait for me to say it, actually. You can just write it down. The next question I'm going to ask you, let me see, I want to get this in the right order. Who do I have to become in order to do this? You are asking that question, you are throwing it out to your subconscious. Depending on what you believe on, I don't know what anybody's spiritual beliefs are, or very few anyway, people here. So either it's like, what is your subconscious going to feed up to you? What is your spirit going to feed up to you? See what speaks to you, if anything. And don't be frustrated. Well, you will be, but try not to beat up on yourself if you don't see or hear anything. Just breathe. Because what you're doing by just breathing is you are softening the soil of yourself. To do anything but that, to beat up, oh my God, I don't see anything, I don't hear anything, that won't help. It just won't help. It's a use of energy that's not useful. Okay, and the next question is, what do you have to give up? You may be very, very surprised at the answer. The next is, what do you have to embrace? There are no right answers. None. What this is something that you can take these questions after this, and you can use this every single day. You can do it as many times a day. It won't hurt you. You know what I mean? It's a tool for you to use if it speaks to you. And then after this, I will introduce you to what's called wisdom writing. Okay. So let me just say something really, well, is Julie Where's Julie? I think there you are. Hi, honey. Somebody just messaged me from, I think it was Instagram, and said she was looking for the worksheet and said they were asking for, like, what was the word? Oh, or she needs to be admitted into something. Anyway, if you can find out what the hell's going on, that'd be great. And if you can't, forget it and come back. Thank you, hon. All right, so let's start with this. Is everybody okay? Are there any questions before we get started? Questions? No questions. Okay, hesitations? Well, okay, it's all under your control. It is all under your control. You don't want to do this at all? Open your eyes, write in your journal. It's all good. Okay, so let's close our eyes together and let's take a deep breath in through your mouth. Through your nose, I'm sorry, and out through your mouth. And let yourself sigh it out. The action of sighing gives your system the message that you really are allowed to relax. So in through your nose, out through your mouth. Imagine that you find yourself in a place that you find comforting and safe. It's a place where you can completely be everything that you are. It's a place where you feel that there is the support of love in the shapes and forms that you love the most. And as you are in this place, this wonderful place, and you look around with such appreciation that there is such a place available to you, and that it comes to you and from you, and it's in you, and it's accessible. You feel yourself letting go of those muscular holdings that you didn't even know you were holding. You feel your attention coming into your body, into your chest. You feel your body from a place of acceptance and allowing, a way that you may not have ever felt before, because it's from you to you. And you let your attention scan down your body, taking in the fact that you are, in fact, body, mind, spirit, intellect, inspiration. You are all of it, all in one amazing unfolding. And as you sit there, I want you to ask yourself this question. What is the bigger version of me? And breathe. What is the bigger version of me? What am I not seeing? What if I could be surprised? What if it's everything I've always wanted? What if that is the bigger version of me? Whether you feel something, hear something, see something, or you simply get to sit in that black velvet darkness of communion with you. Write that down when you feel the need to. Make sure that if it's something you want to hold on to, you capture it. But you don't have to come out of the meditation for that if you don't want to. Now, let's ask ourselves, what do I have to become in order to step into that bigger version of me? What attitude or what emotional state or what action? What do I have to do? It's something gentle. It's something that I can do. What is that thing? And the next question is, what do I have to give up? Is there something I have to give up to do this? Is there a thought pattern? Is there, do I have to give up a little bit of comfort? Do I have to give up playing small? Do I have to give up certainty or perfectionism? Can I give it up even just a tiny bit, which is all that we ever have to do, is just a tiny bit? And the last question is, what do I have to embrace? What marvelous, what marvelous parts of me do I have to embrace to do this, to be this? So you now have all of these gifts of inspiration and insight and this low me sort of calmness within yourself, with yourself. And inside our meditation, let's open our eyes, gather our gifts together, stand up if you haven't been standing already, thank this place, thank yourself for giving yourself attention and care and receptivity and love. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and we'll take just a few minutes to write down any notes that you have about your experience. How's everybody doing? Can I get a thumbs up? Yeah, thank you, V. Awesome. Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Judy. Okay. Thanks, Beth. Rita, awesome. Great. Thanks, Cheryl. Anthony, you okay? You good to go? Okay. And Ruth? Ruth, how are you, babe? You're good. All right. Now, I just have to say, for anybody who's watching this after the fact, because I know a lot of people watch these things after the fact, you have not missed anything. And I want you to embrace that by putting your comments in the Facebook feed. That I'm going to post this as a YouTube video. It won't be searchable by anybody. It's not going to be out in the world. It's totally going to be unlisted. But for those people who are watching the replay, just put #replay and put your comments. I live in the Facebook group and I will be responding. So join us. And I invite all of us who are here to support them as they take this journey a little bit later. So to the degree that you can, I'm not asking anybody to be me. I'm just saying it's a beautiful thing to walk into community. Okay, so is there anybody here who feels like they want to share about how that was? Like, was that a walk into an authentic place for anybody? For me, I always find that when I'm softer, I can access more. Like, I don't have to find the answer can more often find me, which is so much more fun. Okay. Letting go of perfectionism. Can perfectionism and authenticity coexist, Rita? No. Yeah, no. To me, authenticity is allowing. And since 100% allowing would be enlightenment, I think the best thing that we can do is really, and I think it is the thing to do, is to find authenticity in moments. Let me give you an example that keeps coming to my head throughout this. So I was in a really toxic job before I started really deepening this business, which I've done since COVID started. And one could not be authentic there and be rewarded for it or protected for it, or, it was just a very, very toxic environment. But there are certain things that I decided I was not going to give up. I was not going to pretend that I liked my abusers. I wasn't going to pretend that. But I also knew that they wanted me to be very, yes, what can I do for you? Sure, I'll do that for you, no problem. But that the line I wasn't going to cross was I wasn't going to try to bring my whole self to it, to say, yes, of course, I'll be glad to, and I'm just not from that. I'm not from a place where I can go, yeah, what do you want? And like, I don't care about the consequences. No, I needed the job. So, but in order not to abuse me, I had to be sure that I knew where I stood. Knowing where you stand is job one about being authentic. That's why it goes so much with what we talked about yesterday with confidence. When we know who we are, then we do that through exploration. We do that through discovery. We don't do that like we do school. School taught us that there is a 1, 2, 3, and that if we can't, vomit back 1, 2, 3 on a test, that we're stupid. That is completely a mechanized thing. That's for machines. That's not for people. That is machine work. That's not a human organism that is in this mysterious and awesome growing place. If you want to be truly authentic, it is about allowing yourself to be both the known and the unknown. You will discover so much about yourself that is so freaking wonderful. It's so brilliant. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about this other thing, the writing thing, wisdom writing. Wisdom writing blows my mind. I still argue with it because it blows my mind. There's a woman I know named Tanya Taylor Rubenstein. And so she taught it to me in a certain way, and I took it a step further because that's what I do. Just who I am. So here's what she said. She said, you sit down with a pad of paper, and at the top, you write your question, whatever the question is for the day. You know, how the hell am I going to find a job? Or why am I so stuck on perfectionism? Or will I ever stop being depressed? Whatever the question is, it does not matter because it's about you. So you write the question at the top of the page, and the way Tanya said to do it was you just start writing and you write for 20 minutes and you don't stop. Well, that doesn't work for me personally because I have been on a trajectory the last 5-6 years of I love hard work, but I will no longer do this to myself. I will no longer push myself to say, I will no longer believe, I will no longer invest in the belief that if I just work harder, I'll get that thing I want. There is hard work to be done, but the nature of that hard work is different. It's not beating the hell out of yourself. It just is not. And I can tell you, because for up until I was like 55, that's how I did it. And at 55, I was broke and homeless. It's not about hard work to the point of killing yourself. There's other stuff in there. Whew. So here's where we get to the other stuff that's in there. See if this works for you. Play with it. Let yourself discover. You're going to write that thing at the top of the page, and then you're going to sit back and you're going to listen for a word or a phrase. And some weird ass word is going to come to you, possibly. Like the one that kept coming to me first for a while was time. I'm like, really? That's the start of a freaking sentence? Are you serious? And so, but what I've come to kind of love now when I listen and I get like a weird artichoke, you know, it's something, just something really weird. And I'll write it down and I go, okay, what's next now? And it'll be something freaking profound. You know, artichokes have to, this is not one that actually happened, but you know, artichokes have to be softened by steaming, just like humans' beliefs have to be softened by experience. It'll be something crazy ass like that. It's so cool. And and then I go back and forth asking questions. I mean, hell, you can do whatever you want. This is such a great playground to be authentic. So, you know, instead of answering the answer, don't answer it with words, draw something. Or, you know, you can do whatever you want. This is your playground to hear a voice other than the one you're used to hearing. And I love this thing. So I really hope that it helps you guys. Oh, Audrey, I'm reading your thing about, yes, fuck it is a great mantra. I want to encourage each one of you and each one of you watching this afterwards to take some authentic thing this will be part of your homework, but I don't know yet if you'll post it. This might be way too private. So, but take something that you really want to be authentic about and that makes you really feel like if I do this, if I say this, if I think this, if I feel this, it is going to get me thrown off the island. And I will be abandoned and no one will love me anymore. And see if you can't approach it. Not, okay, first of all, allow that feeling, acknowledge that feeling. It's real or it wouldn't have been kicking your butt for so many years. There's something, it's deep, it's real, it's impactful. So acknowledge it and honor it. You may even want to ask it, is it okay if we talk? You may want to look at it and say, there's a lot in here. I don't know what's in here. Can we figure out what this is all about? So you can go that way. You can go the investigative route by going into it. With this caveat, make sure you leave yourself some breadcrumbs to come back out. Make sure that you make it clear to that feeling within you that you're coming in here as the strong person you are, as the person who has had so many experiences, who has survived so much. You are coming in here as a rescue mission to bring light, to bring new perspective, new awareness, so that this pain that you hold doesn't have to be held so painfully again. Maybe it'll take a while for it to go away, but by giving it this, you are making forward strides and it cannot ever be the same thereafter. Being authentic also is helped when you decide, when you figure out what is the one thing you could do that is really something that that person you've been would never do. Like, do you remember the Liza Minnelli story from yesterday? About how she was, she figured out it was so humanistic to make her eyelid, that would be gross, her eyelash come off. This is where acting is so good. Acting is so good for this. It's why I use it in my work, because it gets people through this kind of thing, along with discovering the falseness of what we're holding to, and it gets people out of it so much quicker, and it's so much fun when you actually do that thing that you think you wouldn't do. So I remember once when I was out in California, and I've just never felt really like I'm this sex pot kind of person, and I always felt like I wish I were more sexy, I wish I do this. So I walked around this place. Hold on, somebody needs to come in. There we go, it's Kim. So I was walking around this pond, great big pond, in California, and I decided I was going to walk as if I were Angelina Jolie as the Tomb Raider, because I could embody her. I could feel where she walks from. It's her hip. She's got all of her. She's so grounded. And so I was like walking around this pond like this, like my hips, and I just was all badass. And I may have looked like a total moron, but I felt fabulous. And people were staring at me, and I'm like, well, they're either thinking I'm an idiot or they're thinking, God, she looks like Angelina Jolie, or whatever. She's really sexy. And it was one more step for me in going, I can do this, and there's actually nobody around that is going to look at me funny, who's going to say, I'm never going to speak to you again. Doesn't matter. I don't know you anyway. And so then I can take that feeling, that experience, into the next thing that I do with people who do know me. And I can maybe do one little thing differently. Please stay with the small step. There's so much suffering caused by thinking we have to do it all right now. So much suffering. Don't do that to yourself, please. And if you need to be reminded, get in touch with me and I'll remind you, because I need the reminder too. Okay. So has this been helpful to you guys? Is this a good starting point for walking into who you are a little bit more? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Yes? Okay. Okay. There are bound to be questions about stuff that comes up, and you can always private message me, or you can email me if you want at support@goodbyegoodgirl.com. The thing is, the secret that I want to tell you as we wrap up is I have the gift of being able to see the beauty of who people are. I see the center of who people are, like the nature of it. And even the softest, loveliest, flower-like person has this innate plant-like strength and beauty. And that's what we're trying to let out. And it's one little thing at a time. It's just one little thing at a time. Promise. You take me as your standard, because seriously, I tried the opposite. And once I started stepping into kindness towards myself, really saying to myself, yes, I feel shame, I feel this other thing, and that doesn't define the all of who I am, things started to shift. Things started to shift. So your homework, my precious peoples who are here and my precious peoples who are watching, is if you would write in the group, I will put the homework thread up, I'll put the post up, one thing you're willing to give up in order to be more authentic. When I say that you're willing to give up, I don't mean that you think you can give it up today. And one thing that you are willing to embrace or encourage about yourself in order to be more authentic, in order to let that out to play a little bit more. Now, just a reminder, maybe one, maybe two, all of these videos that we're doing this week, they're going to stay up. So if you miss one, you can go back and look at it. They're all in the group. They're all in the Courageous Confidence group. And you can get caught up. I have just added an extra bonus which would be next Tuesday, because we're going to go all the way actually through next Tuesday if you feel so inclined, because on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I'm bringing in other entrepreneurs who are going to talk with us and be available to you guys for questions about the kinds of work that I do and about their experience working with me and things like that. And you'll get to ask them your questions and they'll get to do their brilliant thing. I mean, one of them is my friend Nikki Willis, who was my entrepreneur teacher back in like 2017. And then I became her self-expression coach. And she's fabulous. She has started a podcast called Mompreneur. No, sorry, it's called Front Burner, because mothers tend to back burner themselves for their family. And then they don't start their business, or they feel guilty that they started their business. And so she's helping them. She's an awesome woman. And anyway, I won't keep you here to tell you about the other two right now, but we're going to have that. And then for those who are really involved in supporting each other and commenting and doing the homework, we're going to have a free workshop. It's called a possibilities workshop. And we're going to see past the perfection. We're going to see past the, I already know the answer that we all have, and we're going to figure out, we're going to do it together. We're going to see how we can open to possibilities, because when I saw that, man, things changed. Things really changed for me. So just make sure you keep up with the videos, get them going, because they will come down next Tuesday. Other than that, I wish you an incredibly beautiful day. Thank you so much for following me to Zoom, and I have faith in all of you. I'm just honored. Damn. Okay, I'll try not to cry. I'm gonna go now.